Welcome to the Lights On podcast. This episode of the podcast is sponsored by David Allen Racing Motorsports. David Allen Racing Motorsports has been a franchise motorsports dealership for over 25 years. Located in Fremont, Michigan, they have been recognized as one of West Michigan's leading multi-franchise dealerships. Stop into the store or check out their website to learn about inventory, financing options, or other information related to their business. This episode is also sponsored by Potter's Tree Service. Potter's Tree Service is a family-owned small business offering chipping, climbing, bucket, lot clearing, and all other tree services you may need. Contact them for a free estimate. You can find their contact information on our website or on their Facebook. They are insured and they do a fantastic job with cleanup. Also sponsoring this episode, Bobby Mercer's Meds. Bobby's Mercer's Meds offers some of your best herbal medicine and awesome merchandise you can find. Bobby has been heavily involved in the MMA industry and healing industry for years and is also looking to help improve your quality of life. Contact Bobby for your merchandise or your medicine today. This episode is also brought to you by Mitten Pizza. Mitten Pizza is Gun Lake's best pizza shop. They make their dough and their sauce fresh daily with an ever-expanding menu and a knack for providing the best customer service possible. You are guaranteed to continue coming back for more. Check these guys out online or in person to stay up to date on all their current specials being offered. Another great sponsor for this episode is Steely Tees. Tracy is a lifelong MMA fan and an avid supporter of Lights Out Championship and local MMA. Steely Tees sells a variety of different apparel products and literally can print on anything you want. With choices from masks, shirts, hats, and cups, you can get everything you need at Steely Tees. Check out their website at steelytees.com. Rachel Fortenbacher 5-Star Real Estate is a customer service-oriented real estate agent who helps homebuyers and sellers in the West Michigan area. If you're looking for a trustworthy agent with patience, perseverance, and a passion for helping people, you found her. Head to our website and check her profile out for current house listings or to discuss your buying and selling options. Also sponsoring this episode of the podcast is Pound Town Co. Pound Town Co. started 6 years ago in West Michigan as an MMA team. Most of the team coming from a small town with very few amount of resources to build the team. Against the odds, they became the best team of 2016 without a gym or any trainers. Moving forward, PTC is branching out, becoming one of West Michigan's newest clothing line developers. They will continue to be on the front line supporting the MMA world and fighters as well. You can stop by their website, poundtownco.com, and take a look. Also check out their Facebook page, PTC Clothing and Apparel, and PTC Sports Teams to stay up to date on all of their future business. That is nice.
That feels
That
efficient.
is nice.
You can use that, definitely.
Episode 2.
I approve.
Episode 2 with the big dog. What's up, buddy?
How we doing?
Good. How are you?
Real good. Real good. Can't complain.
Oh, yeah. Before we get into the fight shit, you're getting married soon.
24th.
October 24th?
Yes, sir.
Ooh.
Yeah, real soon. Right
What is
before
the
the
date
fight.
today?
Less
The
than
11th.
Yeah, it's less than 2 weeks now, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
We got you here that soon. That close to your wedding.
Oh, she don't care.
She's pissed.
She's got her. She's at a bridal shower right now, so I lined it
gotcha.
up.
Yeah.
I made sure we lined it up kind of close.
Yeah.
She doesn't complain too much.
Right.
Sometimes.
Oof. Well, dude, I would say my wife would kill me, but I was planning, as we're doing the wedding planning, obviously, you know by now, it's horrible. It's, what do you want for your cake? What do you want for your decorations? You sit there and you say, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever you want,
Same
babe.
question like 2 weeks later from
and
the
like,
same person.
Dude, I had very little opinion on any of it. What do you want the colors to be? What do you, I don't care.
That's how I've been that way the whole time.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't care about any of it, but we were doing the wedding planning the same time I was planning the first show. We did the first show like 10 days after we got married. So
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that now.
So
yes.
she was pissed, obviously, but she got over it. Yeah. So that's important to remember.
We got to do what we got to do.
That's important to remember.
You got to think I had COVID going on, so I had the fight get canceled. So when the fight call came through, it was kind of like, sorry about your luck, but we don't got no kids or nothing, so it's like, and her favorite place in the world is Disney. So Kissimmee, Florida is Disney.
You're planning on going there?
Yeah, we'll probably do at least one day there.
Are they open right now?
Yeah, it says everything's pretty much walk on.
Oh yeah,
We'll basically just go down there probably to like walk around and check everything.
Yeah, dude, Florida was like, they don't give a shit.
Nope.
They were like the worst state. They were like, come on, don't even worry about the masks.
Tourist state, man. You got to think they don't make no money if they ain't got people coming.
Oh yeah. What's crazy is I always think about these big corporations like Disney and Disneyland, Disney World, all these places that are like saying we're hemorrhaging money, we're going out of business. Like how?
Oh,
You've been charging people so much money for how many years? Like, what do you do with your money?
Makes no sense. When this whole thing first happened, I watched a video. I don't know, can't even remember what the guy's name was, but he's like a cop or something, or some kind of like a bountiesman. But he was talking about how come the middle class always has to bail out the higher class time after time again. Yeah. He was getting like real vicious in the camera. It was hilarious.
Yeah,
hilarious.
Well, it is crazy, dude. I mean, they gave us $1,200. I mean, they gave unemployment obviously, but they gave people a $1,200 check, and they gave airlines billions and billions. And they were like, have fun with that $1,200. Don't spend it all at once.
For people like us, it's like, oh, that's already gone.
Right.
There goes our rent and everything else.
Yeah, that's crazy. So the fight is it 29th?
No, 30th. So the day before Halloween, that Friday. Okay. So my wedding's the Saturday before, so like 6-7 days before.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I don't drink anyway.
So you can't really drink.
I've never been a drinker.
Yeah, you gotta go a little light on everything then.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's worth it.
Well, obviously the food. Yeah, the food was real light.
Yeah, a week before, that's tough, but
yeah,
it'll be worth it.
But yeah, it's definitely gonna be worth it. She was, she's ready. So basically, whenever I planned it, she was happy with. You know, she just wants to be Mrs. Martin.
Right.
So,
but with COVID going on, what did you have to cut guest list down, or did you say screw it? We're just going.
We were gonna do a bigger wedding, but I was looking at doing it either like at some kind of a church or some big venue outside.
Yeah.
So since the COVID happened, I kind of like threw all that away. I invited only family to the wedding, and we're doing it at my mom's house on the lake. So I mean, it's a little bit more meaningful to me. So it kind of helped me because it made me, I got to clean up my mom's yard a little bit for her and help her do some stuff that she wanted to do.
Yeah.
And obviously, it puts another great memory on the house out there on the lake. So.
Gotcha.
And then we're just doing the reception, like I said, at Heritage Farms.
Yeah.
So, and I only invited I kept it real small. Yeah. Because the bigger it is, the more people are trying to get you to party.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
Well, with that, I was curious with that with you too, with having to fight.
Yeah.
Obviously, the risk of COVID. The COVID thing is crazy because if you or I get it, we're probably fine. It's,
yeah, exactly.
But
well, and it's always you have to look out for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily just you.
Right.
So like my girl's parents probably won't try to make the trip, and her favorite place is Disney because of them. They love Disney, but they're probably not even going to make the trip because of COVID.
Right.
Their grandma's still around quite often. So
did they travel? She was there when she was younger, obviously. Then.
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, all the time. Her dad works for the Little League. So he used to go down there for their little League meetings every year. So he would make it a kind of a dual trip, just because they didn't get to do a lot. So that was kind of what they got to do. It's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. What are they making you do? What type of COVID restrictions does the promotion have?
See, in that first, it was one corner, like nobody else in the arena, just us fighting, and then they posted that video of, buy tickets now.
Yeah.
Oh, I had so many people dude, you told me. So then I was like, well, I'll ask. So then I asked, and now, they open the show. So now I get two corners, but they're not really, I think we do a COVID test maybe that Thursday when we would do weigh-ins, and then maybe we're on a restriction till we fight. I haven't really got the details. Like I said, it's a Brazilian promotion. So the only person I'm talking to is that Lucas Lutkus, who manages Johnny Walker and all those other, top, nice guy, really good, but he's busy. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to bother him either. At the end of the day, I didn't really care. I'll show up the day of the fight if you need me to.
Right.
I just want to fight. It's been 13 months, and I'm sick of people bringing up the last ones.
Yeah,
so.
It's crazy too. Some states are so for this XFC event in Atlanta, they're making us do a COVID test before we even get there.
Yep.
We have to submit a test. I think it's within 4 or 5 days of going there.
I've heard that Bobby Nash had to do that for his CFCC fight.
Yeah, and then when we get there, here's the reason I might not even go, because they're gonna make us do the brain tickle.
Ooh, see, I got to do it was like the back of the throat, it wasn't that.
Oh yeah, I could do that. I'm not gonna like it, obviously. I've done a COVID test where they just took basically like a cotton swab and they just right in the inside of your nose.
Yeah, that's what Kelly does. I think she does 1 a week or 2 a week at work.
That's fine. We've all picked our nose harder than that. This, brain swab.
Yeah, see, I see people go through it. I ain't trying to.
I was seriously like, hey, what if I pay for my own at a private lab? I'll pay extra because I can't. I can't. And I don't think Atlanta's making people do that. I think that's the test they have because they have to have it back in 24 hours. So I don't know if
it's probably just like would you call it, a higher, like less of a risk of it being false.
Yeah,
in their mind.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the higher accuracy one.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I told Myron we got to talk about it.
Yeah, no,
we got to talk about it.
Well, and you got to think I'm not too picky like that. But when we went to Vegas for Jamal's fight, dude, he was the whole trip. That's all he was like, man. I don't know if I can do it. You know, how my dad was. So I mean, we didn't really get the, so I've been real prone to just don't get to question too many things. But Jamal was not. He was not having it. So when we got there, we did 3 tests. 2 or 3.
Oh yeah.
And it was just the back of the throat, so it was like a strep throat test. Wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it's gonna make you gag for a second.
Yeah, but it's still not like your eyes watering. Not a good feeling.
I did the worst thing you can do, which is YouTube what the tests look like.
Oh no.
And it's a 4-inch cotton swab.
Oh yeah, it goes.
What do you mean? Your nasal passageway is like 1.7 inches. So where's the rest of that going?
Pokes it through it. Yeah, and then
dude. I can't do it.
Just the thought of something going up.
Yeah, but it's crazy because, so like I said, I don't know if Atlanta's making you necessarily do that. It's just that's what they kind of have. Michigan, which I thought would be the worst state with any of this because our governor,
you would think of that.
They make you. They'll let a show happen right now, and they'll let you have 500 fans, which is crazy because again, I thought we'd be the last state.
You wouldn't think that.
Their COVID testing, I was like, so what's the restrictions? And essentially, they want the Deltaplex to be Mercy Health. Like, you got to have everybody has to have a separate locker room. You have to have a sanitation station. There's
the ball drop there.
You have to have a sanitation station where the fighters come through and you spray them off with a hydrogen peroxide water bottle.
I see the new thing that they're doing is like a blower. Oh, yeah. The mist.
Yeah, you missed them. And then they walk through. They want us to create like a UV light tunnel to get back to the locker rooms because UV light's supposed to be the greatest thing for COVID. And
could you imagine this? Could you imagine a show with all this,
dude?
How much is that going to cost, Matthew?
Exactly. That's why I'm not doing it.
How much is that going to cost?
Why do you think I'm not doing it? Well, the crazy thing is too so they have that. You have to have sanitation stations. Like, I think it's however many square feet. You have to have a certain amount of like hand sanitizers and for the fans even.
Well, and that's like the gyms. You see the gyms now.
Oh yeah.
Everywhere you turn, even gas stations.
Yeah.
They got the little hand sanitizer booths like every aisle. Every aisle. You're like, geez, oh Pete's, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and the funniest part about it is I asked them, okay, so what's the COVID testing? They want us to get a hotel specifically for all our fighters, staff, corners, to where when you get there you cannot leave.
Michigan Fight Island.
They want security at the hotel. Hey, where are you fighting? Are you
that's what they did in Vegas.
You can't fucking leave.
That's what they did in Vegas.
It's crazy. Like, you're trapping people in here.
I mean, they did that in Vegas, but
I heard it's a little more lax there.
Come on.
Yeah.
Are these people really gonna, like, if Daniel Cormier is coming out of his hotel room, walking down, and he's just down there commentating, are you really gonna be like, hey, you can't go get no food, Daniel?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He gonna look at you and be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
No.
The best.
And you got to think everybody had to go train. Guys are cutting weight.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got to be somewhat lax. I feel bad for, and I said this at the beginning. I felt bad for all regional promotions because we're not worried about the U.S. And that's why I said I'm kind of a lucky guy because of the level of fighter I am.
Yeah.
Because like anybody underneath where I'm at, like if it wasn't for LFA even coming back, you were looking at least 2 years off, year and a half, 2 years before you even think about amateur fighters right now. I see Florida's having some fights a little bit, but
they're getting there. Yeah.
It's just crazy to think, though. I mean, but still, that's a year off for a lot of people. I've been off for a year.
Yeah.
So I mean,
most states. I mean, Michigan obviously is one of them. They don't let amateurs fight right now, which makes no sense to me.
What's the difference?
It's the same. They get the same medicals.
Yes. And it'd be easier for you guys.
Oh my God, I could do an all amateur show.
Oh yeah.
Now. 500 fans. I could do an all amateur show.
No, because
that's no problem.
It's a part of the game.
But for them telling us you can only do pros only, 500 fans, and here's 20,000 extra in testing and other shit you have to
try to pay for.
The biggest joke about all this is in Michigan, I said, okay, what specific tests do they have to have? The throat swab, the brain swab, the nose swab, what is it? And they were like, that's up to you, which I was like, great. They're getting just the inside of the nose, easiest one, no problem. I said, what do you have a system set up for us to submit the test to you? I mean, do I turn them into Linda like the medicals? How do I do it? And they were like, no, they turn them into you. I was like, okay, so like, do I give them to state inspectors at the show? They're like, no, it's on you.
Oh, so if there's no positive test, we don't even care to see them.
That's what I'm saying. They were like, it's on you. So I'm like, so you're telling me we know the people that do shows in Michigan.
Yeah.
There's some fucking dirtballs.
Well, and at the end
you're
of the
telling
day,
me that they're gonna make all them guys do tests.
And then even if there was one,
they're not going to tell anybody.
Even if there was one,
they're not going to tell anybody.
Well, not even you ain't even got to talk about. I mean, just say take 10 people and give them all $100 or drop $100 bill in front of them, have them pick it up, and see who turns it in.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, come on now,
dude. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. And here's the thing: for somehow, if they were to audit you or hey, let me see them results now. I'm not gonna be the guy that blew up Michigan MMA because I
made one little hiccup. You know
oh
what I
my
mean?
God.
Like, come on. No.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be, they'd be all over you for anything and everything.
Yeah. Well, just the restrictions too. There was a boxing event in Detroit that happened like maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago.
See, I thought I seen that.
I talked to the promoter. I said, how'd it go? Because they do make you submit a pretty extensive plan. Like, here's our seating layout. Here's our...
Yeah, just like like pretty much every business had to do that.
You got to give them a blueprint and say, here's how exactly it's going to go. He got a Fight Pass deal, thankfully, for him. So he got extra money out of it.
Oh, okay.
But he said he lost $18,000 on it. Are you kidding me?
Nope.
No.
And people think, and people just automatically think people are made of money. You know what I mean? It's just that's the saddest part of the world, I think, right now is everywhere you turn. You know, if you get a new car, somebody's like, "Oh, let me hold some of that." Like, what? Like, sorry, I've been like busting my butt for like 6 years, so I finally can make another investment for the next like 10 years of my life. Like, that's how people have to build into a life, unless you're McGregor now, you know. But think about McGregor. It took him like 5 years.
He was on welfare.
Yeah,
he was on welfare before he got
That's
there.
why I'm blessed. Like I said, I'm a blessed dude because through COVID, I've been working. So I mean, I got a job.
Yeah.
So like, I don't need fighting. I don't mean to say that in like a bad way.
Right,
I love fighting.
Truth,
it's like it's me. You know what I mean? Like everything I've ever done in my life has kind of correlated into fight. It's weird how it all worked out, you know, now. But like if something happened, I got a good job that like is so hard to, you got to be pretty stupid to mess up. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm here now. So it's like I like it, but at the same time, I get a lot of disrespect from the fight world because like I'm beating people that. Yeah, other people won't even fight. And yeah. So
well, that's good to have too, because I've told a lot of fighters, and most have good management at least to tell them too. Like, fighting obviously doesn't last forever.
Well, and that's
even at the same time, I mean, even when you are fighting, you could probably find enough sponsors to just train and do nothing besides training, but financially, that's probably not the best idea. You have to set your future up.
And
too.
Is that me? Yeah, I mean, the people that know me, like, could you imagine me just fighting? Yeah. Like, think about, I play softball now still.
Right.
You know, I'm all over the place. If I don't have something planned and I'm like, oh, I should relax, something comes up, I'm like, well, I'm gonna go do that. Yeah. Like, so I mean, at the end of the day, I never really pictured myself not working. You know, there wasn't a time when I was, pro football, but where we grew up, at the end of the day, we all knew we were going to be working class people. You know, there's nobody that's super rich from where we're from. So at the end of the day, So I like the fact that I can use fighting to like build my own small business. Right. So then when I'm ready to retire, when I'm 55, if that's what it comes to, maybe before then, you know what I mean? Depending on how things go, I can run my own business till I'm however old. I can have young people that I know that train with me come work for me, and maybe I help their life, So that's where I'm at with it. I just don't want to like keep taking chump change for fights that people won't even take. Right. That's my biggest thing as of recent. That like, no offense to like this promotion, but they sent me they did a new photo today of like the 2 fights for the ticket thing. Well, they sent me a ticket thing with Silva and this Rick Monster dude on there, and they're like, hey, can you post this? And I'm like, if you got one with me on it, you know what I mean? I am not if I was an undercard fighter, all right, but you're calling me in for a co-main all the way in Florida for not that much. I mean, I ain't trying to go into details on the cash or whatnot. It's been 13 months, so I ain't really trying to but come on now. So send me something, and you ain't done no video for me, no nothing. I mean, I haven't had. They did even for Crookshank. Crookshank got his own little picture with a background on it. I didn't get nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you bringing me in here obviously to lose to Bigfoot, which is fine. Yeah. I've been there with LFA, with everybody I done fought for except for old Lights Out, which was my home promotion. Thank God. And even when you brought Parisian in to fight me, even some of the people from my home promotion like, I don't know if he got it in him, I don't know. It's just weird how the world works. So it's like now I've been this last year being with Jamal, I'm just to the point now where it's like I gotta say something. Like, that's just who I am. I can't let that stuff like be a burden. So that's why I felt bad even being like, well, you know, because usually I'd have been just, oh yeah, I'll post it. But no, I was like, you know, send me one with me on it. And
well, you shouldn't have to. You
know, they said, oh, we're sorry, and I said, how don't you say sorry? I just imagine if I sent you XFC's business plan and was like, you should use this for promotion. Like, I mean, like, come on, man. Like, I'm not 22, 23 no more. Like, I'm grown now. Like, I'm to the point I beat a couple really good dudes. I took fights against some really good dudes, and they did the mishaps, not me. Right. You know what I mean? I was acting like a professional. I didn't even say nothing bad about the people since the fights. You know what I mean? I acted as professional as it can come. Yeah. And then I've beat people who are, you know, good, not good. I've never taken like bum fights, so it's hard for me to understand how any of the stuff at the top really works. So now I just came to the agreement that I'm happy I'm doing it how I'm doing it with my management company I'm doing it with, and because it helps me stay me. Because like I'm never gonna be that like, well, we tell you to go to the PI and the PI is gonna tell you what to eat all week. You know, like, well, do you pay my bills all week? Because I think I do that. So like, unless it's about my fight performance, I really don't even want to hear any of that other stuff, because you see like these fighters like Karate Hottie just posted a picture of her in camp and out of camp. It's like, so like different. I do the same thing, man. I'm 300 pounds out of camp, and then in camp I'm 265. So what you mad about? I show up, I fight. I'm fighting 5-round fights, like 3 out of my last 5 fights. You know, so it's like, what? Where's the silver lining? And how about the kid can just fight? Right. I did it.
That's the shitty part. Is upper level MMA is very politicky.
Yeah, and I'm cool with that, because I'm here to be that guy, I guess. I'll be another Tyrone Woodley in the UFC if that's what you want. I ain't got to be your friend. Just pay me to fight, and I ain't even. You won't hear me after so much money. You won't hear me probably complain, because like I said, I got a job. You pay me more, my job pays me a year. Shoot. You know what I mean? I'll probably be pretty quiet for a while unless I start taking those top 10 fights. And let's you know, and I'm gonna be a product no matter where, and that's what I understand now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so hard. If you get me in a cage 5 times, 3 out of the 5 times you're gonna be like, man, this kid's got something special for, you know, what he looks like. So like, no matter where I fight, I'm gonna bring people's attention just because of who I am. So like, since I look bad, why don't you look at that as the same thing as like if he looked good? Because like, that's the same kind of attention. Yeah, some of it's gonna be bad attention, but it's gonna be, people are gonna be paying attention. You know, they're gonna be like, well, look at this dude. Same thing that's why I used to dance when I'd come out at these regional shows. Everybody's like, well, why you dance? A, it's fun, but B, man, like, people look at you like, well, look at this idiot dancing. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to see you lose. Next thing you know, you pick up a 300-pound man and twirl him in the air, you know what I mean, set him down on his back. People are like, whoa, what's going on in here? Like, now the next time they see your face on something, they're gonna be like, well, we need to go watch that dude fight. Remember, that's that big chunky dude that was coming down dancing, and you know what I mean, he didn't waste too much time dancing. It was quick, but he got, you know. So like, I've always tried to do what I had to do to be promotable. You know what I mean? I'm a smart kid. I'm a man now, but like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna be in this sport unless something crazy happens. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, I'm one of those guys that was real good, and injury took him out, but already had a knee surgery. Had 2 when I was in high school. I had 1 in high school, 1 in college. Was in sports in both. Ended up being a state champ, ended up being an All-American. So it's like, the injuries, I know how to battle through so much more adversity than what people even. You know what our football team was. You know what I mean? You knew what the wrestling team had to you know, how many guys I was around every day that worked hard in just one sport. So like, I know how to put so much energy into something and then be able to handle everything else on the outside so much better than what people even have an idea of. So that's why I think, yes, it sucks right now, I have to say these things, but in a few years, like, I'm gonna look back and be like, oh, it didn't matter. You know what I mean? Because I'm not like 90% of the fighters in the world. I hang out with 90% of the fighters in the world. You know, I hang out with all fighters. So if you think I'm not one of the more simple well put together guys, like making sure I do things the correct way. You're crazy.
Right.
Because I wouldn't be 9-1-1 if I wasn't.
Right. I did have to chuckle. I seen the press release from PFL, and they said they just signed like 4 people, five, 6.
Yeah, Muhammad, Usman, but Henan was on there.
Yeah, and they said the most, I can't remember the exact word, something like the most elite fighters in the world. And I think he's good.
No, he's real good.
He's good, but when I seen the fight, I'm like, this guy's a fucking hype train.
Think about the same thing with Konsdorf.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
The first round, he's a stud, man. But like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm not here for that. I'm here for, if you make it out the first, bro, I'm here to and like I said, you see guys, you know, I don't mean to like say these things, but you see these guys take these elbows like I took against Fajeda,
Yeah.
and they're going sleep. I mean, they're cold.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what's God doing in my head?
Right.
Different, because dude, I got hit with 6 elbows, 23, 24 shots to the back of the head when I fought that dude,
Yeah.
and I was still like trying to fight. Like, and then the Daniel James thing happened. I'm still trying to fight. What's
Right.
God put in my head that makes me not be like Diego Sanchez and just be like, you know what, this ain't smart. Like, maybe I should just step it. No, I've never been that way.
Yeah.
I'm always like, well, I want people to see me this way, and then it still comes back as, oh, boo, you fat, blah, like it's my fault. It's like, dude, I just controlled somebody that looks like LeBron.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right, yeah.
For 22 minutes, I'm in here, whether it's holding him against the cage, not throwing it. Dude, this is a mixed martial arts fight.
Yeah.
So he's a judo guy, I'm a wrestler. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like you're gonna have these weird transitions. If you've never sparred, you probably won't understand. Like,
Yeah.
I get it, but I spar with all types of people. So I knew what that fight was gonna be. And sometimes when you're in there, you can't break your brain from doing those mishaps of like, oh, I'm the better grappler. So we were just trying to out grapple each other. That's what kept happening. But he wasn't doing nothing.
Right,
He was
yeah.
sitting on the cage. So how is it my fault he ain't moving off the cage? Because
Yeah.
I'm the force holding him there.
Right,
So
right.
technically I'm working harder than he is if he's not moving off the cage, because that's his move.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I look like I'm dominating. So
Yeah.
I ain't about to change.
Yeah.
He's the 6'6" freaking swinging for the fences guy. I'm just some fat dude you guys brought here to fight. So at the end of the day, why would I change my style to try to beat one of your guys' champions? You know, like you see the footage of the videos these guys are putting out. It's 2 minutes of this dude flipping tires and throwing sledgehammers down, and oh, Martin was a good wrestler when he was in high school and he's won a few titles.
Yeah.
What? You know what I mean? Like, dude, you can call me and I'll bring in all kinds of people to shoot video and we'll send it to you. I've done it with you. You've always taken care of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why, yeah, you get it. You see it, because a lot of people in Michigan have seen it on hand with the Parisian fight. Yeah, oh, he's training 3 times a day. I love Parisian. I have nothing against the dude. I didn't make that post to be mad at Parisian. I made that post so that the world, the people who support me every day.
I was gonna bring that up.
Yes,
yes.
dude, I don't want no bad blood with nobody.
Yeah.
He says, I thought we were friends. Dude, this is a business, man. Like,
Yeah.
my friends are my family. Like,
Yeah.
at the end, because, dude, I've been in this game with you.
Yeah.
So how quick have people, you know what
It's
I
a
mean?
shitty business sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like, I get it, Parisian. I appreciate everything you did and taking the fight even. You know what I mean? I get it. But you didn't take the fight with me before I was at that level,
Right.
for a certain reason.
Yeah.
So don't make me bring up when you called me out when I was an 0-0, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't bring up none of that. All I was saying was my brothers, my sisters, all the people who love me are messaging me like, what is this? So it's like, if I'm the best business in Michigan at heavyweight, why wouldn't I put out that I'm the best? So that's all it was. It was like, hey, man, here's me. At the end of the day, everybody that knows this fight happened knows who the better fighter is. Has nothing to do against him. It was just more of a, man, this is what the game is. Sorry. You know what I mean? And he took it that way.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do.
That's the shitty part about the politics too. And I had a conversation with Mondo too, and I can't remember what exact fighter we were talking about, but just about certain guys getting opportunities that they might not deserve, or not even so much deserve, but maybe there's people that deserve them instead.
Yeah. And that happens a lot. Like, and that's
happens
why
all the time.
I wasn't trying to make it like I was the only person, because dude, they're like Justin James. I mean, look at him, dude. You think like I forget about these? No, I'm one of the people that highly respect every fighter. I'm not trying to bash nobody. Everybody's life is different than everybody's. So like, I wasn't trying to put it out that it was different. It was just, excuse me, I chased that fight for years. You know that. Everybody in Michigan knows that.
Yeah.
Because I always chase the best guys. That's what I'm doing. Nothing gets me up more in the morning than knowing I'm the underdog, or like, I got another guy across from me that wants this just as bad as I do.
Yeah.
So it's like, when I took that fight, that was what the whole basis of it was. Like, this is what you work for. This is, and then the fact of them adding on like, oh, he trains full time. Well, good. Because that should show the UFC even more I got this much more on my plate.
Right.
And this is the kind of product I put out when I show up to my job. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about throwing an overhand, clipping, I finish him quick and then still don't get my opportunity. But Justin James, all these other guys have been there and they've had the same kind of situations happen where they have to take more and more and more fights. So then the DQs happen to me.
Yeah.
So it kind of just, no.
Yeah, that's why I really like the XFC business model, because same thing with like Justin James and some others, they'll tell you if their management company was different, they probably get that opportunity quicker because it's the politic part. Somebody, UFC.
Oh, and I've heard that. Yeah, that's all I've heard.
UFC,
but Kenny got it.
Right. Well, here's the thing: UFC might see somebody and they say, they might have a fucking stud that's just with a lower management company or not with a management company, he's independent, or they might see a guy that's decent but they have a strong business tie with any of these top management companies, and he's going to get that opportunity first,
right?
Which is the fucked up part about this whole sport, because it shouldn't be that way.
Think about the heavyweight fight last night, the one that was on the main card. Tom Aspinall, Darren Till's boy.
Yeah,
that's tough. I mean, he's tough. Don't get me wrong, kid's good. I get it. But if you hit me and I fall down, I'm not just gonna cover up and lay there for the ref to stop the fight. Like you see my fights, like you the Leroy fight.
Yeah,
I just quit blocking just to try to get up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna have to put me away. And that's what I hate seeing is these guys that get to the next level that it's like they're just accepting a paycheck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm here. All right, I'm done. Like, I just don't have that in me. I'm a competitor. So like that's why
that's the next biggest part, because these guys that these big companies that have these good relationships, they'll get a guy that's 5, 6, 7-0, maybe less than 10 fights, and they throw him in the UFC and they get fucked up three times in a row because they're not ready. But they hear UFC and they say, 12,500 to show, 12,500 to win. I can make 25 grand.
Yeah, exactly.
And they go in there and they get their ass beat because they're not ready. But that's with the XFC thing. I like that because they have a strict business model. Okay, here, you're going to come from the amateurs. You're ready to go pro. Okay, we're going to sign you for 4 fights. Okay, you do well in those 4 fights, we're going to put you on the tournament, which is 3 fights.
Yep.
Okay, you do good in the tournament, we're going to put you on NBC and you're going to fight top guys, but you're going to build yourself the right way. You're not just going to hear UFC and then you're going to go and get your fucking ass.
Well, and that's and that's why.
Yourself.
Yes, and I've always enjoyed Myron. Like I said, that's why when Kenny hit me up about it, I was like, dude, you better jump all over that, because you're just not gonna get that respect and love on like the promotion side when you're first in the UFC. I'd rather come in there like that 205er that just knocked out no time. Come in and just bust somebody in the top 10. Like, all right, Dana, he didn't sign more than probably a 3-fight deal,
right?
Because they're not going to be able to do that, and I probably won't. That's why I say if I get a Contender Series offer, you might see me say no, man. I'm so over it. I'm just you want to bring me on and test me again? Like, I'm about to be 10-1-1, and I'm gonna finish this, man. Like that's there's no in between. Like, I have to. Like, that's these DQs are itching at me, because I work way too hard for people to be trying to hold against me, because guys at my level after beating Parisian and Jesse would have never took those 2 fights.
Right.
I see it every day. I see guys that I know very well in Michigan not take tough fights with certain people.
This podcast is also sponsored by Tag Web Development. If you need a website for your business or startup, or need help growing your business online, call Tag Web Development. They made us a great website for the podcast and have worked with small businesses across the country to grow their brand. Their team is focused on developing high-performing websites with a foundation in technical SEO to make sure you get found online. Find them at tagwebdev.io or call 616-259-5132. That's tagwebdev.io. And welcome back to the show.
You see it in the UFC right now with those guys. Like, oh, he's not ranked and blah, blah. I see it happen with one of my main training partners. You know what I mean? So it's
nobody wants Jamal right now.
No, why would you? I don't blame you. I train with him every day. There's a reason I train with him every day, or as much as we possibly can. Right. Because we knew way back then, if our lives combined, and then like they have, like now we're like, shoot, there ain't nobody else in the Midwest that can give each other what we can give each other, and we're, I drive like 35-40 minutes, but I grew up wrestling, so I'm so used to that travel. Like, it's just a part of my day, man. And like I said, I don't have kids yet, so
well, it's funny too with XFC. I've talked to Myron before. He knew that you had the the Bigfoot
yeah.
fight.
No, and he had reached out to me before the Bigfoot fight about the XFC coming back, and I told him, dude, and that's what I said. I signed all single fight deals after LFA, the whole LFA thing happened. Just because it keeps my product where it needs to be. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and we, at that point we had already had the Kenny thing locked up, and Kenny had told us his experience with Contender Series, and he was like, man, I went down there, I made weight, I took 3 different opponents in 48 hours because of the dropouts. The fight didn't happen, and then I don't hear from him for 7 days, and we hit him up every single day. Hey, when's my fight? Are we moving it to the end of the year? Are we just tell me what. They don't tell him shit. They call him and say, hey, you're fighting in 5 days. After a week of partying, and
and that's what I mean, where if I was to fight for somebody like XFC in the future, where I personally know people, with me working a job, it's so much easier to plan my weekends. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, me traveling to Florida, getting all my family there, my old lady, you know what I mean, making sure somebody's watching my dog, my house, you know what I mean, taking care of the stuff back here. Turns into I'm almost fighting for free. You know what I mean? So yes, those bigger checks are nice, but I already earned that because there's guys that I beat handedly, like I said, not by some overhand right that just barely landed and it clipped him early in the fight. I did exactly what I said I was going to do to this man after he just fought somebody that was an Olympic wrestler, and that's what they pumped up in the Contender Series house or the Ultimate Fight, whatever they call it. So it's what? You know what I mean? He got up 18 times. Dude, I took him down. Yeah, give him the arm bar. Okay, it was close, whatever. You got to break it. So you needed you're going to have to get me flat on the ground. You know what I mean? If you do a leg over arm bar, you're not going to have enough to get my elbow where it's going to need to go. You know what I mean? You're going to have me submitted like a black belt. You know, you ain't going to be able to just pull some little purple belts. Yes, I'm a white belt, but I've been doing this a long time. You know what I mean? I like repping the white belt. I feel like Israel. You know what I mean? So, okay, so let's say Silva tries to take me down and I sub him. Okay, now what? You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So it's the same thing with Josh. Everybody's like, oh, we just don't know if Martin's more of a ground and pound guy. It's like, oh, I'll show you. You know what I mean? I'm cool with showing you whatever. But I had that against Parisian because he had watched one of my fights when I fought Derek Weaver. And he kept, and these are a lot of these heavyweight fighters. They get on your live videos while you're fighting and they're, you know what I mean? Because they can't, because you can't. Yeah, exactly. He was on there like, oh, I would have already submitted him. If he knew anything about jiu-jitsu, he would have submitted him. That's what Parisian was saying on the post. And that's what I mean. I don't know if he don't remember these things. I ain't never been on none of your posts. I can promise you that because I have a full-time job and a family I care about and spend plenty of time with where I don't even need to worry about what you got going on. I worry about what you got going on when you show up to the fight, when we fight. That's all I care about. All that other bullshit online, y'all can keep that. You know what I mean? That cool, good for you. I usually post about my family and my fights to help my promotion and everything else, but past that, no. So I say there's a lot of BS that's happened with these dudes where it's y'all think I forgot?
I forget about that
shit. Man, I got a great memory. I fight, but come on, man. So when I subbed him in the first, that's why I was that's why I was so excited. You know what I mean? I usually don't even get that excited, but I was that excited because it was 3-4 years after I been a professional. He shows up to the Prokrivka fight, comes over and is trying to be my friend. Like he says, we're friends. He came over, was being friendly. And then, next thing I know, he takes a fight with me 2 weeks later. Okay, that wasn't planned. What are you doing here then, Josh? There ain't nobody else here fighting for real. You know what I mean? So that's my point. These guys, you guys want to play this game where I ain't with the games. I'm the sniper from a mile away where I already saw you coming, dude. The chess match is already done. I already got my people set up, ready to do. So I said, you can come to my gym the week before we fight, and we can do whatever you want. Because in wrestling, you wrestle the same people all the time, every day. Every day it's the same person. So if you think it goes the same way every day, sometimes, if you're that good, but it takes a long time to get that good, and only certain people understand that. I understand that because it took me a long time to get that good. I got my butt whooped from being a fat little chubby kid. It didn't matter what I looked like. Each kid I wrestled would spank me until I was able to, handle some of those guys like Dan, Justin, Brandon, even Lil Colin. You're talking about a 125, 103 pound kid that's almost beating you, and you're 215 pounds. That messes with a kid's mental game. For a 14, 15-year-old kid, then how my dad was. So I say, man, I live a very comfortable, great life when I fight because I'm in control.
Right.
You know what I mean, I don't have people riding me. There's no pressure outside of me and you know how I am with pressure. Pressure's pressure. I've been doing this. I don't put this on my plate to not handle it.
Right.
So, you know, I jump all over the place. I'm very scattered, but at the end of the day, like, I show up, I fight. Like, you know, there's no question on if Brett's going to do what he's supposed to do. There's no question on is he going to get his medicals done. No, I get my medicals done. I'm very professional with everything I do.
Yeah.
Inside of fighting and outside of fighting. Right. So that's why that fight meant so much to me because it's in Grand Rapids. Right. So that's like somebody coming to Hesperia Gym and beating me in wrestling.
Right.
Like, dog, no, this is my
Saying, put this thing on us.
And then my first time to be able to fight for your belt. You know what I mean? Like, come on, did you really thought whether you were training 3 times a day, did you would have to show up? Like I say, bring your A game. Yeah. Because if you don't, see, somebody's gonna be talking about how you got beat by some fat little chub because that's what people are posting. Yeah. When I did the face-off picture with Parisian, all the dudes he was in the Contender Series with, same thing, was on his thing. Even Kevin Gaslam and his coach. Think I ain't gonna remember that when I meet them? Yeah. Got nothing for you guys, man. Right. I'm not a fangirl. Like I said, I love fighters. Yeah. It'd be awesome to shake some dudes' hands. Thanks for doing what you do for the sport. And that same thing with Gaslam. Good for you. But how you gonna jump on some man's post before a fight and talk about somebody because you know what the sport is?
I remember seeing him.
So what happens when he loses, man? Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't you think about that? Like, that's my point. I don't ever put nothing out there. You won't ever hear me, I'm the best in the world. I made a UFC champ. No, I'll say I'm the UFC champ when it happens because that's how I am. I didn't say I was going to be the lights out champion before I was the lights out champion. Right. I mean, that's how wrestling works. You don't walk around saying, well, you know, end of the year, I'm the state champ. No, man, I worked real hard all year to try to be the state champ. If it don't happen, guess what? I got one more year to make it happen. Yeah. That's how my life was built. So why would I change how I am now for anybody? You know what I mean? That's why I have such a hard time. Is because these people know I'm not gonna like shade this way or that way. Yeah. Definitely when it comes to the fight world. Right. Because I don't care how many times you post online, I thought we were friends. I'm gonna keep posting the same picture of me whooping your ass until I get what I deserve. And then, you know what? Good. He should have took it as credit because that's my best win. Yeah. I mean, if you look at my record, other than the DQs, you know, those are good opponents, but it's a DQ. You know what I mean? So like, people are gonna hate on me regardless. So it's like that's my best win. So shouldn't you be happy that that's what I'm promoting? Is you're a tough opponent? Right. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I knew he was gonna be salty about it, but it's business. It is.
Took me like 3 hours to post it. I bet. You know how I am, dude. I'm not. Kept looking at my lady like, man, I ain't even trying to have this drama come back out of it. You know what I mean? Like, because you know how people are. Like, oh, you know, like, dude, you never even came to my house, bro. Like, yeah, you made a hat, but okay, what? Like,
the hat. I forgot about the hat.
Like, I mean, like, at the end of the day, man, like I said, it's a fight game to me. So the guys that fight me from here and out, if you think I'm a friendly person, I'm very friendly. Like, I'll never try to disrespect you. If you disrespect me, I probably still won't try to disrespect you. Right. You say something about my family, now that's gonna be a little different. You know what I mean? You're gonna get the person that not a lot of people know about. Like, and that's what I mean. Is it's like I can be that person. Right. I'm cool with that. Like, next time I see Josh, like I told Josh backstage before one of your fights when he was back there, you're gonna be in the UFC too, bro. I got all in my head. That's how I seen it. We're all, you know, there's a lot of tough fighters in Michigan, and we all have a lot of potential. You were already there, so I mean, it's not really hard for you to get back because they already know who you are. You just got to win some fights, and the fights he takes, he be winning. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So. The fights I take, people don't think I'm gonna win. That's the difference. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the guy that people are like, well, why would he take that fight? Right. Exactly. That's why I take that fight. When promoters call me, you're like, man, you just, you know, because there's some promoters that make some phone calls, like, you know, trying to be, you know, and I like appreciate all that. Yeah. But I'm never gonna portray like what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, I have an old lady that if I start changing how I talk in the fight game, how's she gonna respect me outside of what I'm doing in the fight game? Right. So like, if I start taking easy fights and just it just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't excite me. You know, like, I'm not saying easy fights. I'll pretty much fight anybody. Yeah. But like, I'm not gonna fight somebody that's an even record right now. Like, that just doesn't. I'm a 3-time world champion, like regional world champ. Regardless of what people, you can never take that away from me. Right. I have belts hanging on my wall, like I said all the time, that people dream about having. Yeah. You know, I know people. I train with people every day that would wish they had an amateur one, let alone a pro one. So it's like I could hang it up right now and I'm a happy man. You know what I mean? Like, without because I never thought I was gonna be a UFC fighter. You knew that. Yeah. You knew I was just fighting because I wanted something to do. Right. So like, it all changed after I got beat. It was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Like, I don't know what happened. It just everything just changed. Yeah. So now it's even worse. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy it so much. It's like I want the tough fights. Like, I don't want, but obviously I want to be able to like look back and be like, you did it the right way. Right. So like, how much longer can I take these fights for less than 5 figures because I know they're paying him more than 5 figures. You can't tell me they ain't paying him more than 5 figures. You know what I'm saying?
They're paying him.
They're paying him very well, because I've had people reach out to me telling me, like, they asked me how much I was making, because they're like, dude, you didn't even ask? No, I didn't.
I heard that
I didn't really care.
Him, and I'm fucking furious.
Yeah, no, that's fine, because I'll put him away for something furious. That's cool.
Yeah.
Because then what they're going to do the next 2 fights, they're supposed to pay him for that.
Right. Yeah.
So hopefully he can fight after us. Because if we go to war, it's not going to be fun.
Right.
I'm training extremely hard, like I always do.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be that guy that's, oh, this is the camp I've trained the hardest. Because to be honest with you, dude, I don't even remember my camps.
Right.
I worked from 7 to 3, and the Parisian fight, I was plowing.
Yeah.
So imagine waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, working till 1 o'clock, training like 6 o'clock, 8, 6 to 8, 6 to 9. Sometimes you get there a little early if people would meet you there earlier. Imagine changing your schedule to that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People are talking about, well, I don't know if Martin's doing enough. You know what my mental preparation is, dog? Right. I don't need no mental preparation from anybody else.
Right.
I go through it enough of myself when I wake up in the morning, like, why in the hell am I doing this?
Yeah.
But then when the win happens, it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
God doesn't do these things for me for no freaking reason. Like, that's why I wouldn't keep going if I didn't, like, have a reason that I don't even know about. I mean, that's people are like, well, this is my reason. Well, I got reasons, but sometimes you don't understand why. Like, why would I want to do this? Like, definitely because I don't look like a fighter. People are like, you're not big and scary looking, so why would you? I don't know, man. I wish I could tell you. Maybe because I want to be that guy in the world. Like everybody compares me to Big Country, which is fine. Like, that's cool. Yeah. But I feel like I'm going to be way better than Big Country was. You know what I mean? Like, and they got him at late in his career. I don't want to be one of those guys that they bring in after he fought for 10 years. Yeah. When I deserve to be there now. Like, so I'll just keep ruffling enough feathers to where they make that one dumb decision to call me one time. Yeah. Because that's all I need. Once you call me once, I ain't like somebody you got to bring back. Right. You bring me there once, I'll probably show out right then. Right. Like, that's. Yeah. Because in wrestling, like I said, when you're at these camps and they're trying to pick people to bring to tournaments, there's no like, hey man, do you think you're better than him? No, they're like, hey, you two wrestle real quick. Yeah, see who's the better one. We'll take right you. Then, there's no. Sometimes wrestle-offs in school happen where some of your friends that you walk around with every day try to challenge you that day. Right. You're at practice and like, oh, so and so's challenging you today, and you're like, I've heard about the Brett and the Cody Williverse. Well, yeah. You know what I mean? And another thing, Cody, I loved Cody. But that's the same thing as the Parisian thing. Keep my name out. Definitely if you know me. Right. Yeah. He grew up with me. So it's like, Cody, we played football together. We played baseball when we were little together. Yeah. When is Brett? I'm not trying to be cocky, but when have I not been an athlete? Like, my whole family's that way. Yeah. My dad raised us all like athletes. So, like, it didn't matter what sport we play. I bowl, and I do decent. Like, I mean, like, it doesn't matter if I put my mind to something and I actually take the time to learn it, I'm going to be all right at it. Right. So that's why when I started fighting, I was like, Cody, you're 7-1. Like, I mean, like, you're one of the best amateurs around. Like, just don't even. So he walked out to the McGrath fight with me, which was my second fight on like a month of fighting. Yeah. And then calls me out. I remember. So then I got beat. So then he really wanted to fight me right after I just got beat. And that's where I didn't understand it, was because he knew how I was in wrestling when I would lose to somebody I wasn't supposed to lose to. Like, it just put a chip on your shoulder. It messes you up a little bit. Yeah, man, it makes you train twice as hard. You feel like you weren't doing nothing right the first time, so it makes you. So I've done that so many times to where now I don't. That's why I say I don't really remember my camps, because I don't try to overthink. So I feel like if you overthink, that's what people before the fight are like, did I do enough? Yeah. I'm not like that. I'm like, oh shit, I'm here now, so shit. I got 15 minutes to give to these people. Yeah. You know what I mean, whether it's the ugliest thing they've ever seen or the best thing they've ever seen, you know what I mean, I gotta, at the end of the day, I have to do this. Like, this is what I signed up for. I don't get to pick and choose what's gonna happen. And now after these DQs, shit, I don't know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Because dude, the last one was like a weird deja vu. You know what I mean? I got hit. It really was. I'm like, hit with the knee, dude. It's not again. Yeah, I get hit with the knee, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, man, like, now I'm leaking. The whole fight got no damage from this big powerhouse that every time he's hitting people, they're squirting blood, and you know how they hype him up. But yeah, I just didn't. You just don't even know how to react to a lot of the stuff that comes with it. It's just it's crazy. So that's why I feel like I was so blessed with wrestling, being the wrestler I was, because it took me so long to be successful. And I was on one of the best teams in the state. So, like, I was getting beat 20 times a year my freshman year. I think I had 24 losses. My best friends had, like, 5. But they're wrestling guys that are their age. I say their size. But I'm saying, like, I was a complete different build. Because I still am. Like, I mean, I'm a complete different build than a lot of these people that I'm competing against. Yeah. But that now, it's like, back then you couldn't change it because it's high school. So it's like, how are you mad at me now that it's picked who gets to compete.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like high school where you're wrestling this kid because that's who they have. No, this is picked, man.
Right.
So it's like, how are you mad at me for being at this level? Because it's obvious. Like, okay, so I'm not somebody that didn't fight amateurly. No, I fought all my amateur fights too. So you can go back and look at those. Yeah. So like every time I've stepped in the cage, people see the same person. Hey, there's the fat kid. Like, so if that's how you got to promote me, I don't care. Like that's what I mean. How are you upset with somebody that's doing the things that I'm doing based upon that we are picked to compete? You know what I mean? So whether or not you're picking me to bring me in to lose to one of these big gladiators, these guys are hitting me in the back of the head, they're kneeing me illegally, and I still haven't went unconscious yet. I mean, maybe it'll come. I'm sure it'll come. Everybody, that's what George St. Pierre, if you fight long enough, you'll be on somebody's highlight film, which I'm on Joey's, you know, from when I was an amateur. Yeah. So it's like, at the end of the day, I've been DQ'd now. Like I had the no contest. I've had these. So it's like, what fighter that's gone into the UFC that's been through that kind of a freaking ramp of a road? Everything you can think of, man. Like, and I fought 6'9", 6'10", who's, so that's Stefan Struve. So who's taller? Yeah. You know what I mean? And he was a soccer player, so great shape. You know what I mean? You gotta take that into consideration. He's a professional soccer player from Brazil. He's probably great shape, great. His kicks were awesome. But you seeing me post after that fight, anytime y'all want to run it back, send me a contract. Right. If it's for PFL, I'll put me in the tournament, whatever. Right. That's a wrestler's. Dude. You're talking about two rounds, and I'm fresh in the first one. So sorry.
Do they do 2 rounds? They do multiple fights in a night?
If they do the tournament, if it's playoffs, it's 2 rounds. Oh, so even there, but like, so they do like their regular season, which is normal fights. Yeah. But like, that's 2 fights. You got to show up for 2 fights and win, and then now you're in a tournament where both of those fights are 2-round fights.
The winner gets
and then you fight. Then you get a time off, and you come back and fight for $1 million. So I'm telling you, like you said, rise to the occasion. That was built for a wrestler. Yeah. So like, you put me, I don't care who I'm fighting, and that's my whole point is. Through my career now, I've fought every stylistic of fighter, every body build of a fighter. You know what I mean? Like, there's no... Yes, I'm going to run into people that are different, but at the end of the day, I fought the big power striker. I fought the guy that's supposed to be the grappler like me. I fought black belts. I subbed a brown belt. You know what I mean? Like, brown belt. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? No, I go to... Yes. I don't care what my belt looks like. I train to fight. So like in the jiu-jitsu gym, I don't hound I'm not like caring what my belt is. It just sucks when some people get upset with you because of the level you're at and you have that belt on. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, well, what have you been doing? It's like, well, man, I train 4 other techniques, so it's like I can't really be here every day. Right. Sorry, I wrestled my whole life, and I'm 285 pounds and I roll like a savage. Like, that's just, people roll with me like, man, you're just so athletic. Yeah, sorry. Right. Been doing this a long time. You know what I mean? Like, in every gym I go in, this is what's changed my mentality. Every gym I go into, it's like people are waiting for me to roll. Yeah. Like the best guys. They're brown belts, they're black belts. Like, oh, big dog's here. Where's he at? You want to get some rolls in? Come on, smash me, bro. Smash me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's where lately I've gotten that mentality. It's like, dude, you're there, man. Right. Like, how are you not? I'm not walking to a gym like, oh, you're just some fighter. Yeah, man, come on, get some work. No, these guys are physically coming to me, and we're doing like 15-minute goes. Like, these guys are trying to dog tire me out, and they're confused because we're getting 9 minutes into a roll and I'm the same dude. And they're like, man, this dude just keeps coming. Right. I'm in camp, bro. Sorry about your luck, but I'm gonna be prepared to fight. You know how I am. Right. So that's why I say lately, with being with Jamal and training with Jamal and seeing where he's going and everybody around me is going, and then like when I go to these other gyms and I'm grappling with these dudes, my striking's always I'm only 6 foot tall, so I can only do so much at heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm gonna have to be like DC, find what I'm really good at, and that's what I'm doing. I'm honing all that right now, and you'll see it this fight. Promise you'll see it this fight, because I ain't taking this dude down. Yeah. No way in hell. Yeah. Maybe, but I doubt it. Right. Right now that's not my mentality. Mentality right now is to start throwing bombs on people that I do every day. Right. But I've been honing all my skills. But I promise you, when I get to the top, when we go to the ground, it's just not gonna be good for people. Yeah. Just because of what I've been doing lately. Yeah. I've been training so much more jits with the right people who are physically wanting me to be better, not just rolling with me because I'm good, but they physically want me to be better. So like, they're rolling with me, and then they're like helping me help them. You know what I mean? Like, those are the people that I love rolling with. Right. High level belts that are like, dude, you're unreal. You know what I mean? Like, so they're helping me get better. They're coming to me for rolls. I don't have to chase them across the room like, hey man, can I roll? Like, I hate that. Yeah. Because everybody knows why I'm here. So like, if you want me in your gym, You got to show me you want me here.
Right.
And I don't ever have to ask at Jamal's gym ever. Those guys are that's a game ass gym for Michigan.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
for
sure.
a little town, little Michigan, it's it's real laid back, but they're all game there.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Dude, just to go back on this real quick, when you said before you made the Parisian post, you sat there for a while and you thought, shit, should I do this? Dude, when I know exactly what you mean, because when I made the post about KOP.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Dude, so I was at the house by myself at the time, right? Ashley was just getting out of work. She was like, I'm 20 minutes away. And I was like, all right, I got to do this. I can't wait anymore. I waited until she got home because I instantly went into an anxiety attack.
No, I can only imagine.
Took a Xanax that, like, the second I called her, I took a Xanax and I was like, I went back, I had it typed out, right? And I'm like, I can't fucking do this.
Yeah, it's the hardest.
It's the worst thing.
Just because at the end of the day, you know there's going to be backlash.
Oh, it's the worst.
But you're doing everything you can to stay in line with who you were raised as. You know what I mean? Like that person.
Yeah.
So that's why when the whole thing went down, that's why you knew where I stood at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, Frendo's got to do what's right for him, not for what's right for KOP. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why Parisian, when he said that, I was like, man, this has not, because I went through that with the KOP deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You guys, you're still one of my great friends. You know what I mean? That's why I say it was, yes, medley was medley, but we knew long before it happened.
We knew what he was like.
Yes. So it was either we made the decision to jump out, or it was like you keep feeding the monster. Like, I 100% understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that specific fight, I don't remember. It was when Jamal and Daquan actually fought.
Yes.
He made a comment at the weigh-ins about Daquan and used the N-word, and multiple people, fighters, staff, I think even some Deltaplex staff heard it. And I just started thinking to myself, they're going to think that I'm like this too. Like, they're going to think that I'm like doing this with him, and that's not. And I talked to my mom and dad about it like the next day, like the morning of the fight. And I was telling them that, and they were like, is this the first time he's done it? And I was like, no, it's not. And they were like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, no, because...
And once they hit me with that, I'm like, oh, my God.
Yeah, because now you're thinking, too. Like,
now I'm like, I wasn't raised that way, you know? So, like, once my mom and dad were like, why is this the first time you're now just about to... And I was like, fuck, I fucked up.
Why are you now just rolling over?
I fucked up, and I should have did it long before I did, but when I actually was about to do it, and I posted, and I was about to post about it, I just kept thinking of a million things in my head, like, what if, because at the time I obviously was planning on doing Lights Out. I knew I wanted to stay doing something.
Right.
But in my head I said, well, what if fucking Michigan MMA is, well, not ruined because there's other promotions, but West Michigan MMA, there's nobody. You know?
Well, not that. Put a lot of fighters like
where's
me,
the opportunities going to come for all these guys? Where, you know, think of the fighters, think of the staff, think of just the ripple it was going to make throughout the fucking MMA world. Because
I just talked about this actually the other day. It's funny,
dude. It's crazy. And I sat there for literally like an hour, and I was like, I had my finger over the post button. I'm like, I can't fucking do this. I can't do it.
And I've had a lot of posts like that. Well, even the post I made about that whole situation, because people knew where I was friends with both parties, you know what I mean? But I had been in a lot of arguments with one party for lots of different reasons about him saying things that people are speaking out when he shouldn't have. You know what I mean? Like, and people know how I am. So that's why when it all happened, I was like, yeah, it sucks, but like, once again, I was in a great position to go fight wherever I wanted to fight. I was, you know what I mean? Like I said, I was a well-rounded pro. Had to take a fight on a little bit shorter notice than I wanted to. Right. Because I just had knee surgery before I fought that Leroy fight, you know, but that... I'm not going to sit here and make that like it was an excuse or something, because you know, people are like, well, it'll be an excuse, you still lost. Yeah. But if I would have fought him now, where I haven't had a surgery in like 2 years, I've been training for camps, and it's different. It was a weird thing, dude. It was weird. The mutual friends thing sucked, because I had some people that I was friends with him too. They were like, why are you doing this? It's like, guys, first of all, why are you pissed at me? Well, I'm not the one doing this shit. Yes, everybody else can say what they want, but you have to look at it from your standpoint. You're his like partner, you know, basically. So once, yes, it took you a while to say something, which, you know, everybody can. Took me a long time to start my diet for this fight. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, we can sit here and point fingers at what was this and what was that. But the main stem of the problem was, as a person kind of like bullying other people. Same thing I have an issue with Dana about when he says stuff about like fighters when they're, oh, well, they need to get in the PI. Like, man, if they fought well, just leave it at that. Like, don't bring in my personal life. Don't. So I'm really big on that, like I said. So that's why when it went down, I was like 100% support it, because at some point it has to stop. You know what I mean? Like, and then with even more so with what the world's going through right now, you know, where I come from, it's so hard for me because we were kind of taught to just let it bounce off us like rubber bullets. You know what I mean? Like, just let it bounce off you. It hurts a little bit when it comes out from people, but you just kind of walk. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, my dad was very particular about, you know, hey, I work and I make a real good living for you kids. You're safe out here. You get cars, you get phones. You know what I mean? So like, if somebody says something and you beat them up, like, what does that really do but cause your life more trouble? I mean, you're a great wrestler, you're a great football player, so if you want to go on in life, you can't go on with felonies, and you can, but you're not gonna get the same kind of respect that you would get if you just learned to turn the other cheek. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Obviously, if it got out of hand anytime, we were very particular on how we handled it. But like, it never, once I was in high school, it was such a small high school, people never even, I was the biggest kid in high school, so it wasn't like people just walked to me like, hey man, like try to disrespect me, because I like, when I played football, people seen how I played football. When I wrestled, people seen how I wrestled. So like, they realized when I was in school, like, wow, Brett's really nice. Like, he's humble. I mean, some of my high school buddies will say I'm cocky, but like I said, those are my friends. So obviously we're men. So like, at the end of the day, if they ever tried to like trump me, I'd be like, well, let's get it then. Like, because it's always like, well, you're fat. Well, okay, so sorry, God bless me to be big. Like, my dad taught me when I was little all the time, when these people were making fun of me, he'd always say, just don't worry about it. Just don't worry. You'll see when you're older. You know, when you're picking up motors and moving them and sliding canoes around or picking people up out of the water that other people can't do. You'll remember all those times people were making fun of you when you were little and be like, oh. So now when I'm big, you guys need my help to move stuff. But when I was a kid, it was an issue. You know what I mean? So it's like, my dad and my mom were very hard on us about like, just shush if it got too bad, like your situation. You know what I mean? So I've been in so many situations where people I know have said things, you know what I mean, and I kind of like don't say nothing, and then I'll message them or something. Like, you know what I mean? It's really, you never know what's the right step to take. You know what I mean? So people are always going to critique you for that. Even when we're 50, you know, we're going to hear, well, Matt Rundle was the one that buried KOP, you know? But it could have been anything else too, so let me tell you.
It could have been a fucking million things.
It could have been COVID. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, so this is life. You know what I mean? Like, this is, so you can't be mad at Friendo for taking a step in the right direction. You know what I mean? Like, that's a step towards trying to do the right thing. Whether it was late, whether it was, he didn't step back and be like, yeah, support Josh on this. No, he stepped away and said, this is what I see is wrong. Whether, you know, whether how people see that, and where I'm from, and you know where I'm from, how my parents were raising me, that's what you're supposed to do. You know, when you make a mistake, the next time it happens, you try not to make the same mistake. I mean, that's
the thing honestly, the thing that bugged me the most is that whether they were his friends or just people looking from the outside in, and they said Matt buried KOP. I wasn't the one that was using racial slurs. I didn't bury KOP.
And that's my point. Like, people will try to put out, you know, well, if he would have never said something, well, how is that? That's like saying two wrongs makes a right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the first things I ever heard as a kid is two wrongs don't make a right. So it's like, now we're changing the laws, or like, people don't, that didn't become a saying because it was wrong. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's my point. It's like, no, you have to understand. Like that. That's, you have to understand that taking the step that direction, whether it was now, then, you know what I mean? It's, at least you were doing the right thing for you, because that's what's going to make you later on in life not like think back and be upset. That's how I think. Like, I'm not worried about how somebody else looks at me. I'm not worried about, I've made my mistakes, but at the end of the day, every time I've made a mistake, I face it head on. I get through it, and then I move forward. So you gave him a perfect opportunity to do that. And you can't tell me he couldn't have handled that away where KOP could have still been a thing. But KOP still can't be a thing without their main man running things. You see what I'm saying? So
he and I talked about before I did anything publicly. He can say what he wants. He and I had a conversation about this, and his answers in his responses.
Well, no,
you know how he is.
Matt, you know I've had conversations with him about this because I don't want to even bring up what we went through with him. Because it makes me very upset. Because I'm not that way. I'm very particular how I do things. So if I got money for tickets, the money for the tickets goes to the people that it goes to. So that's why I say I've had these conversations where it's like, man, if you say these things about people, not everybody's the same way. So like it could come back to hurt you like later on. So that's why when it went down, I was like, I done been the dude trying to feed you the spoon for however long, you know what I mean? Like, and we're adults, man. Like, that's why when an adult makes a decision and you can't be mad at that person. Because I've been through it, man. People have said things. I'm sure something will come out about me someday. And I'm doing my best to understand you can't be mad at that person if what you did was in a way wrong. All you can do is try to make amends and keep moving forward. So it was good that you handled that business, and then you went right back to opening your promotion and taking the heat for opening your promotion and doing whatever you had to do to make sure your family was straight. Because like you said, at the end of the day, I wasn't the one making the slurs. I wasn't. No, I was standing at the weigh-in when this dude made the slur, and I'm standing around a lot of people I highly respected. And they all looking around like, how could this man even? You know what I mean? So that it makes you look bad as well. It'd be like if it happened at my work. I can't have. And then somebody heard that somebody in my work said it, and I worked there. You know, I mean, that was the big thing. I lived with Josh, so forever I got, well, you were his little, you know, such and such on the couch. It was like, you know, when I was with Josh, what I was doing at Josh, I was helping with the fight stuff. I was working on his house. I was trying to do anything I could. You know, I was training in his cage in his garage, so I was doing everything I could to show my appreciation for him, even giving me a place to train, because I didn't even train in the gym as an amateur. That's what people don't understand. I didn't start training in the gym till I was a pro. And I was a 7-1 amateur and beating guys that were at gyms and been fighting forever. So like that's why my career, a lot of people don't understand the longevity in it, because I've been through it, done it, and went around it. You know what I mean? And had like drama situations like that one where it was like people are mad at the wrong people. You know, just like with Black Lives Matter, the whole big that people are mad at the wrong people.
I wanted to ask you, do you feel like, I mean, it's weird too, because where we came from, the town we're from, we know what happens there, what the people are like. We know how everything is with the Black Lives Matter movement and all this crazy police brutality, and it's always the most brutal shit is always with black or some type of minority. And given the fact that you're a professional fighter, you have a platform, your platform's only getting bigger now that you're fighting like Bigfoot Silva. You're going to have opportunities for large organizations. Do you feel almost like I don't know if responsibility is the right word, but do you feel like a obligation almost to take a stance, or do you feel like you're obligated to like speak out in certain cases, or do you feel like you have to be careful what you say? Like, what is it like? The big thing is you never know.
Well, like Jamal, because when we were with him, the whole thing happened when he fought, you know, so people are expecting him to use his platform to, you know, and I think he did the right thing by not saying anything at that time, because it's literally right when it happened. You know, now that things are playing out, I just think it's such a big problem. There's just there's no way to like make it right off one person saying something. But what I will say is I've had a lot of, you know, run-ins in my life where I'm from, where a lot of it had to do with the color of my skin. You know what I mean? Like, and that's girlfriends, or, you know, so and that's everywhere. I won't ever say it's not everywhere, because when I lived in Muskegon, dude, I got a lot of it because, you know, from everybody as well. So I think it's bigger in certain areas, obviously, but when you go to a small town like us, after so long, the police officers know who you are. You know what I mean? So, like, I'd never really had the police brutality. I've had a situation where a cop treated me a certain way, but I don't think he did that because of my skin. I think he did that because of who I was. Like, since he knew I was a high-level, you know, a fighter, and, you know, so he was treating me that way because of who I was as, like, a person, not because of my skin color. So, like, I think the hard thing that we struggle with as people is finding that in these statements. You know what I mean? Like, people are trying to turn the little bit, like, where somebody says something super small, like that, they're comparing that to like a cop killing somebody as racism. You know, somebody posts something online that's like, well, I don't agree with that, I agree with this. Like, well, you're just like that cop then. You know what I mean? Like, that's there's no, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's sad to see something compared to, like, you know, like a text message like what you had compared to like the cop killing somebody. Like, that's, to me, that's where it's like, okay, so be mad at that person, hopefully he changes. But like, you wouldn't watch a pro football player if he didn't do his job right every night.
Right.
You know what I mean? You'd be talking smack.
Yeah.
So why is it okay when a cop doesn't do his job right? We don't handle that the same exact way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be a police officer. I wouldn't be a fighter if I didn't fight. You know, imagine that. Imagine if I came into the fight and then just tapped out.
Yeah.
Nobody would hire me. Nobody would. You know what I mean? So that's my thing is why are we trying to compare everything as one thing?
Yeah.
Instead of forget about the little stuff when people say stuff, you just gotta let people say stuff. But these big problems with the inner school systems and the kids being treated certain ways by certain people for that type of stuff, I 100% agree with.
Yeah.
But all the petty stuff online, and that's just more fuel to the fire that they want.
Yeah,
like, that's what people
it's
want.
making it worse.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
What's crazy is I've never heard one educated thing that Skip Bayless has ever said.
Yeah.
You know, he goes on the show, he just starts acting stupid.
Oh, man.
But he said one thing, when all this stuff was happening, I think it was when the Breonna Taylor thing happened, he had said something like, if LeBron James all of a sudden forgets how to play basketball, starts missing all his shots, turning the ball over, just talentless, or he fucks up in a sport, he gets fired.
Oh, yeah.
They cut him from the team.
That's my thing.
Cops are killing people. And sometimes they're not even being suspended. They're still being paid, and they still keep their job.
Yes, and my point is, where does the lining change for, like, okay, so if I was on the street and I took somebody's life and the cop came up to me, there would never be a conversation where I went home.
Right.
You know what I mean? I would be arrested right then. Yeah, they might not put me in a tank. They might treat me a little different because of the situation, depending on the situation. But you're never done dealing with that until you pay your bail. If they let you leave and you come back to court. So it's like, why are these police, I mean, they should be held to an even higher standard where if you take somebody's life as a police officer, it should be in your contract. You know what I mean? You stay in a jail cell, you stay at your office, you stay until that investigation is figured out. You get treated exactly like every other human being on the planet because you're held to a higher standard because you agreed to this job. Yeah. You mean, that's why I hope I raise a police officer. I pray to God one of my kids wants to be a police officer because he's going to be trained in all types of things because I'm a mental giant. You know what I mean? Like, I am so particular on how I react to things and how, because you have to be nowadays with running social medias and doing, you know, you can't say the wrong thing ever, you know, because people will just try to eat you up. Yeah. So, like, my big thing is police officers one day are like, yeah, I'm going to be a police officer. It's just like any other job. They go through that where it's like they get, it's just going through the motions. Yeah. So it's like we have to find a way to keep people interested in their job. They have to grow, just like fighting. All right. You have to find a way to keep them interested, you know, and if they don't want to keep growing, guess what? Right. See ya. Yeah. You know, just like pro football, or, you know what I mean? So why are cops able to be cops till they're 55, 60? They ain't running nobody down. So those guys should be the guys. Imagine? Yes. It should be, if you're a 19-year-old cop, you go straight into the hard stuff, learning the hard stuff, and then after that you go into smaller job in small towns. You should be recruited from place to place to place to place to place as a police officer. Yeah. When you're 35 in your prime, you should be one of those guys running SWAT. You should be one of those, and after you pass your prime, you should be dumped off somewhere and taken care of, like a small town.
Go to Hesperia.
Like, yes. You see what I'm saying? Like, why isn't that? How can we not coordinate something like that, where these guys that are actually wanting to be better cops and that actually have good lives and good heads on their shoulders, you use those guys until they're out of their prime, and then you pump them into somewhere where they want to go, whether it's a prison or, you know what I mean, and that's kind of like the end of their career, and then they retire, and then but they did their duty because people are safer with those types of cops, not cops that get 6 months of training and they run into a guy like me that had a bad day and then they piss me off, right? Because now it's a whole different situation. If I don't know how to control myself, so it's like you got to count on the people to control themselves, not the police officer. Like, wait, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, that's the police officer has to control himself, and if he can't control your average dude, I promise, if I ran into anybody on the street, I don't care how good it could be the UFC champion. It's not going to be a quick thing. Like, you know what I mean? We're going to grapple. We're going to. So it's like that's one of the best people in the world. You know what I mean? So you can't tell me with a couple years of training these guys can't learn how to properly handle these situations. Forget cuffs. You don't even need cuffs. You can put somebody to sleep real quick.
Right.
If they try to sue you, they try to sue you, but your life's at stake.
Yeah.
So as soon as he wakes up, the cuffs are on him. He's already on the way to the car. Like
Yeah.
that's how the situation should go.
Yeah.
But you have these cops that come into these rural areas like Grand Rapids, you know, and in our but you got to think Detroit, and so you get these cops that only been cops for a year, and they're downtown by themselves one day because somebody called in. That's not how this should work.
Yeah.
Not how it should work.
What's crazy is this might not even be true, so don't take it for. I'm pretty sure I've seen that you have to have more training for cosmetology.
No, you do. No, 100%.
Or you have less training is what I meant.
As a police officer,
you're a police officer. You go through less schooling and training than you do to be a cosmetologist.
It's like 6 months, man. It's not, and don't quote me on that either. It might be longer now, but like, still, you should be able to be. And I don't even mean this in like. You should almost be like a psychiatrist, man. Like you should be able to handle so many situations. Yeah. And I get it when your life's on the line and people are pulling guns. Like there's obviously another silver lining in that.
Right.
But when a guy is in handcuffs and you're throwing him around, dragging him, like once a man's in handcuffs, you can just sit him down. There's nothing more. Even if he does run.
Yeah.
Run. Like that's my biggest thing in America is like you let so many people escape every day.
Yeah.
So what's one, you know, so there should never be a death because people get away with stuff every day.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, how does this stuff happen? You know, like a guy walking to his car and then he gets in his car and you open fire on him.
Yeah.
He walk right by you.
Yeah.
If you have something to arrest him,
just arrest him.
Just put him in cuffs. Listen, if you got 5 or 6 cops in each area that you got on video, just bringing them to the car. I promise if that cop walked up to somebody else's house that has any kind of clue what social media is or anything about his area, he's going to know who that police officer is. So he's going to know exactly what he's getting into when he gets into it. Oh, if I want to fight this guy, I'm about to fight a black belt in jiu-jitsu, somebody that's been in multiple cage fights. I mean, why not throw a couple police officers in cage fights? It puts you in a different type of atmosphere, something that you can't control. Your nerves are all over the place every fight. It doesn't matter who you fight.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Why don't they find training like that for these officers? You got 2 cops going to school to be officers. Sign them up to fight each other.
Right.
Put them in a cage.
Right.
Sanction it. You know what I mean? Why not? If you got guys going out, you're talking about protecting your life and having kids at home, and you ain't done no training in your job other than what your job's offered you,
right?
And you're defending your life. I train every day thinking about what if somebody tried to break into my house,
right?
And I don't even, you know what I mean? What's the chances that actually happen?
Right.
Let alone I show up to a job every day to protect people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like that's where I love seeing cops at jiu-jitsu practicing. You know what I mean? I love that.
It should be.
Yes.
It should be.
Because it's something you can't control. And then you're going to run into somebody like me and it's going to make you really understand why you're training in your job. Because I'm the last person you're going to... 285-pound dude that moves really well.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I can run. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, imagine being tired and then running into me.
Right.
Like, and these guys are on all kinds of drugs on the street. So who knows, their bodies just...
You never know what they're hopped
exactly.
up on.
Like, so, and it's only getting worse. You know what I mean? That's why it sucks for them because people are mad at them for not doing their job, but at the same time it's 2 people's fault almost.
Right.
Like, I mean, we don't give them enough training, and at the same time they have to also want that training.
Right.
You know what I mean? In my mind, maybe that's the outlet for fighters.
Yeah.
For actual civilized fighters that have a hard time paying their bills.
Yeah.
Maybe you sign them as part-time police. Look at that Chris Darkus, or the heavyweight that fought last night. That's the Philadelphia police officer.
Yeah. Controls
himself. I was supposed to fight him a while ago for who just did the shoot for XFC? Trigger.
Oh yeah.
Trigger had offered. That's who we were trying to match up when I went down and fought with him with KOP. And I've always watched the Darkus brothers. They're really good. That's why I said that's another heavyweight that I've always respected because of how he carries himself.
Yeah.
That's why when he got there, I was telling Kelly, this dude's gonna kill it. Oh, yeah. And last night, same mishap. Didn't act real crazy after. Very, like I said, very respectful. And that's the type of people. That's why I bet you he's a great police officer. Oh, yeah. I bet you nobody runs from him.
Right.
I guarantee you now.
Yeah.
What you gonna do, right? You mean, they might pull a gun, but at the same time, that at that point, the argument goes right out the door because it's life or death.
Right.
I'm talking about before it gets to the life or death point, before the guns come out, before it turns into a battle. You know what I mean? Like when these situations like the George Floyd situation, those are the situations I'm talking about. Same thing with like the text. There's obviously different levels to it.
Right. Yeah.
I want to stay away from how come these guys are walking to their vehicle, getting in their vehicle and dying. or you know what I mean, like that stuff. How are guys? Yes. How are our cops not smart enough to realize what a gun is and what a gun isn't?
Yeah, that shit's inexcusable. I mean, they can say they can justify it however they want. Oh, I thought he was reaching for something. Oh, I thought he. No. No, you should have been trained well enough to tell the difference.
And if they get away, you're gonna find them.
Right.
How many guys?
Eventually,
how many repeat offenders end up back? You know what I mean? Like that's my point.
Yeah.
So many people you see get away.
Yeah.
What's one more? You know what I mean? Like instead of taking somebody's life and making your whole police officer's jobs, because it's not what that one person did. You know what I mean? When that thing happened, dude, it affected so many people's lives.
Yeah.
That's my point. It's like, how can one police officer's dumb decision, you know what I mean? Like, how can you let it get to that?
Yeah.
Like that's what you said. If LeBron just forgot how to play basketball, how would we get to where LeBron just forgot how to play basketball? So it's like, how do we get a police officer that just forgets, like, hey, I shouldn't try to hurt this guy?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, how do I not have enough training to not, like...
There's such a bigger problem, too. I mean, those cops, the cop that, with the George Floyd thing, the cop that did the knee on the neck obviously should be in a fucking cell right now.
Yes.
The 3 pussies that sat there and watched them do it should also be in a cell. But the thing is why did it take riots around the country for any type of action to be taken against that guy? Why did it need to go to that point for somebody to do something?
If you go on the news, hey, I'm on the news right now, right? Hi, this is Brett Martin here, News 3. We had a situation downtown where a man's life was taken by a police officer, but both police officers are in custody and they're doing a full investigation.
That's different.
Next. Now, news, sports, and then we move on. You're not going to have riots, man. They're going to be like, yeah, them cops are in custody. They're getting what they deserve, until the investigation. They got body cameras. They got car cameras. They got video places with cameras. You can't tell me.
Yeah. They initially suspended those guys with pay.
Listen,
I was like, are you shitting me, right?
These dudes are at home with their families chilling.
Yeah, getting paid to not work.
And you aren't the criminal. You're the police officer who has held your hand over the Bible, saying, I'm going to do my job and protect.
Yeah.
And then you take somebody's life. Like I said, I've always been raised on, I've always been raised on, when you make a mistake, it doesn't matter how bad the mistake is, you better blow right through it head on.
Yeah.
Because if you do anything else, you're going to look like a coward.
Right.
It's going to make it worse.
Yeah.
So that's my point. Every time we don't put one of these police officers right into custody, regardless if it was self-defense or not, they should have it in their contract where they go, whether it's a day, 2 days, any kind of situation where somebody's life is taken by a police officer, you should do the same thing as if the pedestrian took your life.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because that's the only way it's going to be played as fair.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, doesn't matter if it's the president, doesn't matter, you're going to have riots.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a family that's hurting because somebody's life was taken.
Yeah.
It's like there's no silver lining in when somebody's life is taken. So it's like, how do you not have that in a yes, you're a police officer, but dude, you don't do your job. You coming right back here and you're sitting until we figure out exactly what happened.
Should be how it is.
Because if you use your power wrong, we're taking it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to sit just like everybody else that used their power wrong. As a person, I do not have the power to take somebody else's life.
Right.
So then why would a police officer get that power for any other? Dude, he's held to a higher standard of protection.
Yeah.
It's my job to protect the people around me by not doing the wrong thing. So if I sign up to be a police officer, it is definitely my job not to do the wrong thing.
Right.
So that's I'm like, where is the, and I've been saying this way before the whole, you know what I mean? I'm a big stickler on police officers just because I have friends that are police officers, and all my friends that are police officers are absolute savages.
Yeah.
They train jiu-jitsu, they run, they lift, but they're young like me.
Right.
That's my point. It's like, why aren't those guys the ones that you're using in these rural areas instead of these older guys that are 135 pounds that don't know how to protect themselves?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's trying to handcuff a 6'6", 250 pound on drugs or whatever, you know what I mean? And whether he's on drugs or not, that's not the point. People, you do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like that's my point. Whether they're on drugs or they're repeat offenders, it should never get to that.
Yeah.
And if it does, sit your ass there until it's right.
Right.
Like, we're all raised that way.
Yeah.
At least that's the way it should be. You break the law, you sit. Like, whether it's drinking and driving, which everybody in the freaking God's green country, it seems like, gets a DUI. I know so many people that do the drinking and driving. I know so many people that drink and drive. It's like, okay, so what's the difference? Like, I mean, I know police officers that you see doing that. That's why I'm like, man. Why is it? And it's just a big problem. Not one person can fix it.
Yeah.
It's going to take a whole, like I said, it takes a community to fix things.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll change, maybe it won't. You know what I mean? But I'm going to keep saying the same damn thing, I promise, about why the hell are we not treating people. They'd be like treating a fighter not treating a fighter different from beating up somebody that's not a fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like that's so you have power, so you use your power to apprehend this man, and then this man's life was taken. Like, that's what I mean. Like, okay, so I know I could beat up, you know, pretty much anybody. So then if I just grab somebody up and beat them up for no reason, they would hold me highly accountable because of what I do. They'd be like, well, you should know how to control it. So it's like, he's a police officer. So, like, if it was me, dude, like I said, if I would have made that mistake, I would have sat my ass there just so that the riots didn't happen. I'd be like, dude, you better arrest me right now.
Right.
Like, that's my mindset. I don't know how, you know what I mean? Like, if I ever signed up to be a police officer, like I said, you're held to a higher, it's just like being in the army or something. You know what I mean? Like, when you agree to be something for the country, you have to be that thing. That's why sports are so much fun, because it's independent. Right. It's you. Yeah. Unless you're with like a big team, you know, like the NFL. Yeah. And those guys are even held more accountable for when they make the wrong. I mean, they make the wrong statement, they get fined. Yeah. So it's like,
they smoke weed, they're fined.
Dude, they get tore up. Man. You get tore up for all kinds of stuff. So why, when you take somebody's life, I mean, why aren't you treated exactly the same as anybody else that took somebody's life? Yeah. And if that was the way, a lot of this stuff probably wouldn't happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if everybody was treated the same exact, when these riots are happening, these cops are just being unruly, which they have to be because it's a riot. But at the same time, if those cops are in jails, the riots don't happen. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, you might have a little bit of riots, but you ain't getting riots in different countries because cops are at home on paid leave for killing somebody. 4 cops, 1 dude.
I don't know what they expected. What did you expect to happen? You're going to let them guys sit home, get paid, and not get in trouble.
Like I said, you ain't even got to put them in the cell. They could be at the office training room, chilling. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whatever it came to be, that's fine. But you should have it in contracts with every police station, every FBI. I mean, I don't know about FBI. I don't know how all that stuff works. But definitely in police stations like that, like smaller, you know, towns like that where things like these things happen. Right. You should have it where these cops have to stay incarcerated or at the building, you know, away from people, if that's, you know, because you got to keep them safe. I understand that. Yeah. So don't put them in a cell with more people. You can't tell me you ain't got somewhere you can put these people.
You can find somewhere.
Come on.
You can find somewhere to hide.
You were finding places to put homeless people during COVID. Right. You know what I'm saying? To try to keep people safe. Yeah. So you're telling me you can't put a police officer somewhere who broke his, you know, his what does it call it, where you put your right hand, his bylaw or whatever. The oath, the oath. When you break your oath, this should be double charged. You know what I mean? Right. Like, if it comes back, you should be treated twice as bad because, like I said, you were given power and then you used it, you know, in the wrong way. Yeah. That's we've been watching movies since we was how old? Every time you see somebody that's a villain, they're using their power in a wrong way. Right. So it's like, why? This is not rocket science. This is what we're taught our whole life. So it's like, how are people seeing this? This is real. This is right in front of you. It's real life. Yeah. It's just somebody you give a badge, which is power. You know, when you sign up to be a police officer, you're signing up for a little bit of power. Right. Because you get to pull people over. You get to kind of be in control of other people's lives that you have no clue what they do every day, who they are. So whether they're good or bad, you're still at power over them. You know what I mean? So when they misuse it, I feel like it should always be worse. Definitely if it's on like a scale of like 4-on-1 and somebody's life was taken. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, how do you not have the common sense to be like, hey man, he's not breathing. Right. You know what I mean? Like, when I choke somebody out, or when you watch a UFC fight and somebody gets choked out, they look right at the ref like, hey man, he's out.
You know when they're
because
out.
You can feel it. You know what I mean? Like, they go limp. They go limp. They go stiff. You know what I mean? It's a complete different feeling when you're choking somebody who's fighting you and not fighting you. Yeah. So like, you can't tell me when you're choking somebody and they pass out and you let go, they're not going to come back, because I see it all the time. Yeah. So if you get in a dispute with somebody and you choke them and they pass out, you put the cuffs on them, they wake up, they got cuffs on them, they're alive. Right. All right, man. We can do this again if you want. You know what I mean? But this is what happened. This is what's going to keep going on. Yeah. If you keep fighting, it's only going to get worse for you, sir. Yeah. I mean, that's how it should go. Not, oh, we took his life and now we're at home. Yeah. Like, no.
That's not how it should be.
No, that's why there's riots. That's why there's... Yeah. I feel like it would be way easier if they would just, if there was some kind of punishment given out right away. And it's not even really a punishment. If I get pulled over drinking and driving, guess what? I go sit until I'm sober, and then I leave. Right. Until I am okay to go back out into the world. Yeah. Right. So why is it any different for something on that extreme of an extent of something? You know what I mean? A young kid gets pulled over with weed. They're bringing him to jail, and he's sitting until he pays bail or whatever. Oh, yeah. So why is it any different for something that's twice as crazy as that? You're talking about taking somebody's life. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they treat stuff. That's why there's just this thing in the world where things are treated differently because of certain reasons, and it just grinds my gears. Yeah.
I don't have the answer.
No, nobody does. I think it's going to be a long time. There's always going to be that, there's racism in the world. But that's built. Yeah. The racism in the world is built. It's not like
It didn't just happen.
You're not born raised.
Yeah.
You're racist. It's built.
Yeah.
You take middle class people and you compare them to inner city people where these ladies are having babies and they're getting kind of rewarded. They're getting paid to have kids.
Yeah.
And like there's no really like stipulation on what they can do. And then you get the men that they're getting in trouble because there's no other really business for them other than these things that are on the streets.
Yeah.
There's none of that on our streets in Hesperia.
Right.
So like we wouldn't ever have to worry about that. So it's like you got these people in those areas where this stuff's happening.
Yeah.
It's like it's built. It's all like a little. And I see it even more because of where I'm from.
Yeah.
When you go to Muskegon, there's 6 liquor stores within the Muskegon Community College School.
Right there.
Right there. When you're in Hesperia, there's 2, and they're gas stations. Like, you know what I mean? They're part of the part. So how you can't tell me that and I work for the city, so I see the councils. You telling me a council can't control that?
Oh yeah.
They clear everything.
Yeah.
They clear the concrete that goes in the ground. I bring a tape measure there and measure it to make sure it's 4 inches.
Right.
You're talking all the way down to the thickness of the concrete.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me you can't keep these liquor stores and all these easy ways for these kids to get in trouble off the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They all work together.
Sounds good.
It's all hand in
Yes.
hand type
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all...
You don't send a guy to a freaking liquor store in downtown Grand Rapids with food stamps because there's baby formula and shit in the liquor store. What?
Yeah, right.
There's none of that where I'm from.
Yeah.
Walmart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're walking in a liquor store where there's baby formula and everything else is gambling, liquor, cigarettes, tobacco.
It's tempting.
Dude,
it's all tempting
it's
stuff.
temptations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you throw these kids in there with all the, you get multiple kids, 6 kids from one mom, and a house that she can't afford.
Yeah.
That the government's giving her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's built, man. It's all, and you can't tell me no different because I was lucky enough to grow outside of it.
Right.
And I was an African American outside of that, so I've seen how beautiful a life I could build because of where I was at.
Right.
That's why when people are on Facebook saying the things they say, I just try not to chime in. Definitely when it's my friends, because it's like, man, you can't think that small-minded.
Yeah.
I could walk down the street and never find a lick of a drug. You know what I mean? Because nobody's going to give it to me if I'm 15 years old in Hesperia. Maybe one person, but it's going to take you all day to find that one person.
Yeah.
If I do that downtown Grand Rapids on the right street, take me 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Definitely as a 15-year-old, because then they're going to turn you into one of them, one of their little runners. That's the difference. That's why I say it's you can't, and I'll never say different. You can say what you want, but I see it, and I go with my gut, and my gut says that shit's built all day long.
Right.
So that's why they like to make the news media makes this, and Reddit posts this, and they do that on purpose.
Yeah.
It's everybody, they probably get paid to do it. Hey,
I'm sure.
You post something bad, you're going to get paid more if you post something good.
Yeah. Well, they get paid off of views anyway, so the bad shit always gets more than the good.
Views. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that's my point. Why would you get paid more to post bad stuff?
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, if you post something bad, you're not getting paid at all.
Right.
How hard is that? It's like in school. If you typed a paper that wasn't right, guess what?
Yeah.
Or that was like, you know what I mean? If you typed anything that wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
And everybody knows what allowed is because that's the rule.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's, so why does that all just go away?
It's not you would think it's as simple, and it should be, but they somehow
weird because you run kids that don't have a clue what they're doing every day, but you can't run adults that have brains, and you know what I mean? That's my It's like, what?
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
You also meet people every day that you really don't understand shit that comes out of their mouth, what their thought process is, or why they are the way they are.
Yeah.
That's why some people are just they are who they are. Yeah. Some people are never going to be okay with somebody that doesn't look just like them.
Right.
So.
Yeah. How are you finishing this fight in 10 days or 11 days, however many it is? How are you finishing the man, the myth, the legend, Bigfoot Silva? How's that fight going to go? Without giving your game plan away if you don't want to do so.
I'd say early first round. I think before we even get through the feel out process, he's going to go to feel me out, and I think I'm going to just be too fast for him. Yeah. And if not, then maybe it turns into I hope he shows up for like some of the fights he showed up for in the UFC. Yeah. Maybe we'll see a war. Yeah. I wouldn't be mad if I went to war with somebody and showed that, because once again, it's not a damage to my brand. Right. I'm a 26-year-old fighter. Yeah. Like, I'm going to be here tomorrow whether you like it or not. Like, that's the point. I had a year off of getting better at 25 years old. They say you don't stop like maturing until what, 30? Like you said, you're not. I think it's 32 is what they say the combat fighter's prime is. Yeah. 32. So I'm still, and that was my point. Is I'm 13 months off, yes, but it's 13 months off working every day training every day, finding ways to get better at not just fighting, but like everything I do in life.
Yeah.
So it's like my mind has grown so much with my body in the last year. It's like, who knows what I could show up looking like. I could show up looking like a guy that's in the top 15 in the UFC, but who knows if I'll show up like that my next fight. That's my point.
Right.
I'm 9-1-1, so I've showed up for 9 fights and found a way to win. That's my difference between a lot of the other fighters that you see going places. You know what I mean? That's So I see me getting it done early because that's, like I said, I'm not playing that patient, like just show up and be the nice guy and try to fight. Like I'm so sick of being that, not saying this thing or not saying that because I'm trying to be humble. Like, like, yes, I'm a humble person, but like I'm putting people away now. Like that's my game plan from here on out. Always, it's just going to be like it always has been. It's just a little bit more outspoken about it.
Right.
That way, like when I say I'm going to finish Parisian with a submission, if he tries to go to the ground with me, and then I do it, not more people know about it instead of being like, well, it was just a submission. No, it's exactly what I said I'd do to him if he played that like, oh, I've been training on the ground for 6 months straight. Yeah, well, I've been wrestling since I was about 5, 6. So your 6 months has got a lot of work to do before it catches up to my 6 months.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm 6 months been doing this since I was 6, 7 years old, but never even understanding why I was doing it. So now that I'm older and I understood that everything I did when I was little was to put me where I'm at now, it's like, shoot, you can't just find a grappler like me anywhere. Yeah. Like, no, I was bred from when I was like 7, 8 years old. And then I played on a football team that had 15 players. So I played both ways. I ran the ball, and then on defense, I was our main player. Made all the tackles. Yeah. Led in tackles, led in touchdowns, led in rushing yards, I kicked. You know what I mean? Like, I punted if I needed to. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, everybody that grew up with me knew that. And at the time, they hated it. You know what I mean? Because they didn't understand it. Now, a lot of people understand it, and they don't say nothing. They're just like, yeah, man, that's just who you are. Right. So, yeah, yes. So, I don't ever see myself. Because, even if I did get 5, like, let's say I was 9-5, you probably wouldn't see me. Because it's like now I'm damaging myself. You know what I mean? Like, if I lose 4 or 5 fights straight, I'm not one of these guys that's going to be like, well, I'm just going to keep going. Definitely not at this level. You know what I mean? Like, I can start a business tomorrow and put all my time that I'm at the gym into a business because I know how to do those things because I do them all the time anyways. So it's like I'm very particular on how I handle things for that point. Like, I have to make my years worth it if I want my kids to live the life I want them to live. And that's why I do what I do when I fight. I don't half-ass this stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not just showing up to be these guys' friends. No. That's why I get mad. I'm like, well, I thought we were friends. I'm just nice. Like, I'm not going to be ridiculous to somebody for no reason. Like, you're doing the same thing I'm doing. So, like, at the same time, I could take your dream, you could take mine. Isn't that enough? Like, do I need to add any more animosity onto your life? Right. Isn't it enough that we both are busting our asses every day, got this big dream in our head, we dream about it every night, we look at the people we love and tell them we're going to do it. Yeah. And then if we don't, we got to, like, answer to them and, like, feel okay. But you want me to add on to the fact of, like, now you want to try to, like, be my friend and all that. No. Right. Like, good luck. Yeah. Good luck with me. I've just never been that guy ever.
Yeah. Well, what was going through your head when they gave you that offer? When you got offered to fight somebody like Bigfoot, who obviously is, I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame, but he's put on some of the most epic fights in MMA history, and obviously he's been at the pinnacle of the sport in his career at one point, and the fight. I mean, shit, he beat Alistair Overeem. He had some of the he had some of the craziest wars with Mark Hunt. And
what should they say? One of the best fights of all time at heavyweight was him and Mark Hunt.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, it was with each other. It was ridiculous. So when you got that offer, it's not even a pressure thing because at this point, I don't think there's pressure on you. I mean, it's obviously at any fight there's a certain amount of pressure, but this is more of a opportunity to take out a legend of the sport. So when you got the offer, what was going through your head?
I'd say the biggest thing is it took me a little while. I think when I got the first poster is when it was like, man, like, that's crazy. Like, because like I said, when I was 16, 17, I didn't ever think about fighting. I never knew what. I mean, we watched UFC when I was like 19, 20. It was like, oh, that's cool. Right. But, like, I never thought about fighting until Sean, and I seen them and Sean and like Cody and Mike Dunbar and all those guys that were fighting back then. You know, that's who I saw fighting. And I was like, well, maybe I'll do that after I get done wrestling. You know, so then to get that call, I think the biggest thing was it took a minute for it to even set in. And then now that it has, it's just like all the rest. I've had so many opportunities in my career where it's like, how could I be mad about it?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like even the LFA offer, it was against tough opponents, but at the end of the day, you know, it's a chance to fight, and I ended up winning both fights. So at the end of the day, when people look back in history, whether it was by DQ or not, I'm the first ever LFA heavyweight champion. Like all the other BS, like I said, you can take it however you want to take it, but I have to be in the right place at the right time to get that opportunity. You know what I mean? I have to do the right things in my career to have gotten to that point. So that's what's so cool about this fight is it's like anybody could have got this fight. Because if another bum heavyweights get offered Bigfoot Silva, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I'll take it," and they're probably gonna go there and try to lay down. You know what I mean? Like that's what's cool for me is I'm not that way. Like any fight you offer me, I'm gonna put everything I have into it. Whether I fight good or bad, you're gonna know that. You know what I mean? What I did, you got my worth. You know what I mean? Like I always put my worth into it. Yeah. So I was just more excited to. It's like a brand, you know, a headstone to have that when you're sitting in the bar when you're 50 and somebody's like, oh, there's that one fighter, because everybody knows who Bigfoot is. Yeah. You know, maybe by the time I'm his age, everybody will know who I am too, you know. So, but I'm thinking, you know, in my brain, you know, when I'm 50 and somebody's like, oh, you know that Bigfoot dude? It's like, yeah, man, I knocked him out. Like, you know, it'd be cool just to like think about that. So, definitely an awesome thing to think about. Obviously, it's a great fight for what he's done in the sport, you know what I mean, because of him. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm the prospect that hasn't lost a fight in however long, and so it's like if I lose to him, people are gonna be like, well, he was washed up and beat you, like, you know. So there's always that. Like I said, there's always those people that are gonna say something regardless. So like I'm so good about not caring that this is a perfect fight for me because I don't give a shit. Like I just fight. Yeah. Like you're gonna get me there, whether it's the good me or the bad me. I'll probably just fight. Right. And the fights that I felt like I wasn't gonna fight good, sometimes I fought great. So it's like, and the fights you feel great for sometimes don't go great. So it's like you never know. Yeah. You know what I mean? I've been in so many competitions in my life now that you know, it all kind of spirals together, and you just try to treat it the same. So yeah, he's a big name and he's older, but at the same time, you don't walk in against a black belt at a jiu-jitsu gym who's been doing it and he's 40. You don't treat him any different than you treat somebody that was 25 in a black belt. You're like, man, he's good, he's a veteran. Right. So I treat it the same way as if he was showing up to, like I said, to the UFC title fight. I hope he shows up in great shape, ready to scrap, because that just makes me look better. Right. So no, it definitely was exciting. It's obviously the biggest thing that could have came for me. Yeah, I mean, I was still getting offered regional fights. So it's like, I mean, this is still kind of a regional fight, but it's like at least the opponent's a lot bigger of a name than I am, so that helps me. Right. You know, instead of like, instead of like, hey, this guy's the same as you, but he's 6'9" and 250. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like this is a fight where like he's already a built name. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not two prospects fighting each other. So that was what's cool, and it kind of turns me into a prize fighter. You know, I mean, if you really think about it, it completely changes my brand. You know, because now I've got wins over current UFC fighters and like past UFC fighters. Yeah. So it's like. Yeah, it's good overall for everybody. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was excited. Yeah, even just to compete. Right. Yeah. Well, you're getting married. Yes. You're fighting a UFC legend. Yes. All in the next 2 weeks. Right. Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, two and a half. 3 weeks. Yep. You got a lot of shit on your plate. Oh, I love it. Love every minute of it. Yeah. 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 So with all that stuff going on, I'm not gonna take up more of your time. No, you're good. Yeah. I appreciate you having me on. Yeah. We're social media stuff, sponsor opportunities. What? How do people get a hold of you? Yeah, Facebook's Brett Wilbur Martin, or if you look up Brett Big Dog Martin, I have my Facebook actual fight page. I got Instagram is Big Dog 285, or if you just look up Brett Martin, I'm sure it'll pop up. Yeah, and just type in Big Dog. Just type in Big Dog. Yeah, you can do that. I think you can do that in Google now, and it would probably. If you did MMA after it, I'm sure I'd pop up. You know what I mean? If you do Big Dog, it might just pop up a Big Dog. But if you put an MMA or anything, you know, close to MMA around there, I'm sure I'll pop up. Yeah, so, for sure. Appreciate you having me. Yeah, for sure. We'll get you back on after we can do some celebratory shit. Yeah, no, definitely. After the wedding, you gotta spend some time with the family. Yeah. Your wife's gonna, she's gonna act like she's fine with all this stuff going on right now. Oh, but dude, you gotta give her some time. Yeah, she's like, are we gonna do a honeymoon? Or are we gonna? It's like, yeah, we'll figure. Because I think I can't take too much time off of work. Yeah. Because if I get a call for a big fight, I gotta be able to take that time off. Exactly. So I'm a big stickler on. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm already taking time off for the fight. You know. So it's like, she's like, well, we better do something. So I'm sure I'll get the wrath afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
So I better win and make the wedding go great, so that way she don't have anything to like backfire on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I won, right? So like it's good. We be able to do whatever. Let's just go do that now.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, definitely enjoy the moment. I'm sure this fight's gonna go your way. So
appreciate it.
We'll have you back on after, and we'll celebrate.
No, definitely.
For sure. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Thanks.